Minister Moasa defends the purchase of 16 presidential vehicles, saying this was to prevent a loss the state would have incurred. Justice Dikgang calls on the nation to partake in the process to review the country's constitution. And the US President signed a bill ordering the release of files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Good evening and welcome to our 7 p.m. live. It's a great pleasure to have your company. I am Koketso Khotla. Minister of State President Moasa has told Parliament that the government finalized the procurement of 16 custom-made vehicles last year, including 6 GMC vehicles. The minister said the contract initiated and concluded under the previous administration was approved in June 2024, valued at around 80 million pula. Moasa said the vehicles arrived in Botswana in August this year and were registered in September. Moasa said the contract could not be cancelled, as doing so would have meant paying the contractor without receiving any return, due to the penalties involved in the agreement. He was responding to a question from Leader of Opposition, Dumelang Salshando, who wanted a full disclosure on all aspects of the purchased vehicles for the transportation of the President and Vice President.
The total procurement included 6 Land Cruiser extended length SUVs, 6 GMC vehicles, and 4 ambulances, bringing the total to 16 vehicles. The total cost of the contract included costs for training, maintenance, spare parts, customs clearance, and transportation. These vehicles arrived in Botswana in August this year and were registered in September 2025. In accordance with national security legislation, the specific registration details of the presidential and vice presidential fleet remain classified to safeguard the safety, protection, and operational integrity of the highest offices of the state. When this new government assumed office, this contract was already a legally binding commitment on the state. The vehicles are highly specialized, custom-made assets, meaning they were being built to our specific requirements and could not be used or sold to any other party. The decision was not between cancelling or proceeding. It was between losing a substantial non-recoverable sum for zero benefit or receiving the specialized vehicles we require. Throwing away millions of dollars in penalties would have been an irresponsible use of taxpayers' money, especially when the state will have received nothing in return. Basically, what this would have meant was that we'll have given the supplier money without acquiring any assets. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, this government is fully committed to fiscal prudence and reviewing all contracts entered into by the previous administration. However, we are also bound by the rule of law and a duty to minimize financial loss. Cancelling this contract will have been an act of financial recklessness, causing a direct and substantial loss to the public purse. Our decision to honor this legally binding agreement was the only financially responsible course of action.
Constitutional expert Justice Dikgang says Botswana should take an active role in reviewing the country's constitution. He said this presents a major opportunity that could bring about meaningful reforms and strengthen Botswana's democracy. Dikgang made these remarks during Mafoko Akhotla, hosted by the Botswana Council of NGOs in collaboration with the Botswana Center for Public Integrity, Motheo o Mosha, Young Minds Africa, and supported by the Fred Rich Ebert Foundation Botswana. The dialogue aims to promote public participation in shaping Botswana's future.
That this is the very first opportunity of our people to be involved in crafting their own constitution after almost 58 years. The last colonial administration did not consult the people. The people cannot claim to own this constitution. So this is a historic moment, a legacy-defining moment, and a moment like no other in the life of this nation. And because it is a moment like no other in this nation, it is important that the people gathered here, representing various sectors, various organizations, must have an input in what must result going forth. But I must say, very importantly, that we should not mistake ourselves as the people of this republic. The people are scattered across our beautiful land. And let this project, under any circumstances, ever be a project in which the elite captured and ran away with. The essence, therefore, is that an opportunity of a people-centered, people-driven, and people-executed project is now. That is the rationale.
An author and leadership coach, Dr. Maleboga Ratedi, has kickstarted a series of trainings aimed at helping leaders build trust, integrity, and impact in a rapidly changing world. Dr. Ratedi, who recently published her book, Redefining Leadership, Building Trust, Integrity, and Impact in a Changing World, say the program seeks to reshape how leadership is understood in Botswana.
Leadership today, it is no longer just about authority, but it is about authenticity. So you need to understand what really leadership is, because it is no longer about that time when we were managing people. It is about influencing lives. We are not only as leaders being here to manage people, but we are there to influence lives. It is no longer still again about positions. It is about purpose, it is about character, and it is about the impact. So you need to understand those things. So we are doing this training because there is a leadership gap that we are experiencing. There is a vacuum for that, and every person in this room is part of the solution. When we are here, when we are attending the leadership empowerment training, you are part of the solution. So today's leaders, they are awakened. They want to add value. So we are redefining leaders also. We are equipping leaders and empowering leaders who can stand with integrity.
The importance of this workshop for me, it's for the staff. The staff must always be well trained and empowered in areas of need. And if you want to excel in business, you have to ensure that your staff are well trained and are equipped with the necessary tools that can take the organization to the next level. And I think the other thing is HE talks about transformational leadership. And I think this will actually add more value towards the transformational leadership that we need within the organization, because we also have to look at ourselves and say, how can we add onto the message that is coming across from the leadership in terms of coming from the president of this country.
And when we return after a short break, the US president signed a bill ordering the release of files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Stay with us.
InDrive. Ride at your price. Now with an extra 25% off.
No such pricing. At least this won't be scary. And then when
You can't choose your taste in music, but you can choose your price for a ride.
Yo, what it do, what it does. The name is Dstv DJ, aka your fully neighborhood DJ, aka Altitude Dancer Man, aka Mr. Nice Guy. And be sure to keep it locked onto YTV every Saturday evening to watch the Welcome to My City mini-series featuring Stax, featuring Conerd, featuring Amsterdam, Sam Kush. Bro, it's gonna be epic. The name is Dstv DJ. Keep it locked.
It occurs when blood vessels are constricted or blocked completely. If it isn't treated quickly, heart tissue dies due to a lack of oxygen. Men have more heart attacks, but women die from them more often. The reason? When having one, women often feel abdominal or back pain, short of breath, or nauseous, symptoms doctors don't always recognize as heart-related. This is because during their studies, physicians often only learn men's symptoms like severe chest or arm pain.
The sisters managed to escape the raging waters and climb into a tree. There, they hung on for hours until they were rescued by the fire department the following morning.
To spices and souvenirs that you would never have dreamt of buying before visiting the bazaar.
Welcome to Krakow. This is Poland's second largest city and a really popular tourist destination. I think it's really popular among tourists and even dogs love it.
Welcome back to our international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a bill ordering the release of Justice Department files on Jeffrey Epstein. Documents will be made public within 30 days, with some details withheld to protect victims and investigations.
Donald Trump has signed the bill ordering the release of files from the Justice Department's investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He made the announcement in a Truth Social post. The documents could reveal more about Epstein's activities. Before his 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor for prostitution, he moved in elite circles, socializing with Trump and other high-profile figures.
We have nothing to do with Epstein, the Democrats do.
The scandal has been a thorn in the president's side for months, partly because he had previously amplified conspiracy theories about Epstein to his supporters. Many Trump voters believe his administration covered up Epstein's ties to powerful people and hid details about his death. He was found dead in a Manhattan jail in 2019 while facing federal sex trafficking charges, with the death ruled a suicide. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced at a news conference that the Justice Department will release the Epstein-related material within 30 days.
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
But the release may not be complete. The new legislation allows the Justice Department to withhold personal information about Epstein's victims and any material that could jeopardize ongoing investigations. The department often cites the need to protect active investigations when withholding information. One recent poll showed 70% of Americans believe the government is hiding information about Epstein's clients.
In business, with climate financing expected to be a central focus at the G20 summit, the international community faces growing pressure to honor commitments to provide at least $300 billion annually by 2035 to help vulnerable nations combat climate-related disasters.
On Wednesday night, civil society groups led by the Glasgow Actions team turned the city into a canvas of protest. They say time is running out for climate accountability and the spiraling global debt crisis. Indeed, numbers tell a grim story. Last year, the UN's trade chief, Rebecca Greenspan, said that about 3.3 billion people, nearly half the world's population, live in countries paying more interest on debt than they spend on healthcare or education. This year, that number is expected to rise to approximately 3.4 billion people.
We've got to drop the debt. As a first port of call, the debt is highly and unfairly priced.
For many here, it is not just about balance sheets. It is also a fight for action.
And I think that is important to see that South Africa wants to make sure more finances comes into Africa in terms of renewable energy, in terms of strategies to adapt to climate change.
On Saturday, South Africa opens its doors to leaders and top diplomats from more than 40 countries, also attending our global financial institutions like the United Nations, the World Bank, the IMF, the WTO. This year, South Africa says it wants to put the needs of poorer nations at the top of the agenda, especially those battered by extreme weather and climate-related disasters.
Our reality is that all across the world, it's not just in Kenya, in Madagascar, in Morocco, in Nepal, or in Indonesia. This is happening across the world. The 99% are rising up against the oligarchs of the world, against the billionaires of the world, and against the multinational corporations which the large superpowers of the world are backing to bully us and to plunder our wealth.
Climate financing is expected to dominate discussions and tensions, while rich nations pledged to contribute at least $300 billion a year by 2035 to help the developing world respond to climate disasters. Experts warn it's not enough. They say at least $1 trillion a year is needed by 2030, more than triple current commitments. But this weekend summit begins with a notable absence. The United States, one of the world's biggest polluters and a key player in climate negotiations, will not attend. Washington is boycotting the meeting over the US President Donald Trump's widely rejected claims that South Africa is persecuting its white minority. Enoch Sikolia, CGTN.
The sisters managed to escape the raging waters and climb into a tree. There, they hung on for hours until they were rescued by the fire department the following morning.
To spices and souvenirs that you would never have dreamt of buying before visiting the bazaar.
Welcome to Krakow. This is Poland's second largest city and a really popular tourist destination. I think it's really popular among tourists and even dogs love it.
Sometimes just come for my competitions or bacheka halora ba khona go bacheka gore ke tshamekile yang ke motshameki wa taekwondo. Taekwondo is a martial arts sport mo teng ga ragana
tsara di re bona a ntsha bojotlhe ba gago go sona e re le ga modimo hela gore se gore ke ha ile gore it's God's will, let it be.
University of Berlin, students are testing how the sun's energy might be harnessed to build roads on the moon, using a bit of artificial moon dust. The finished solar cell is made of 2 glass plates, with a layer of perovskite in the middle. Now they'll see if it works. In a vacuum, the solar cell is placed onto an artificial sun. A moment later, it's generating electricity.
In sports tonight, 2 times domestic champions Joining Galaxy yesterday claimed the top spot of the ongoing FNB Premiership 2025-26 season after defeating high-flying Catlin Giants Muchudi Center Chiefs 2-0 in a rescheduled game yesterday at Galaxy Stadium. Speaking in a post-match interview with the team's media, Chief Head Coach Ponso Moloi applauded his team for the performance, highlighting that they had a better game, but was just unfortunate to convert in their final third.
If you concede a goal at the time where we conceded a goal in less 20 seconds, it throws a whole lot of things away. The plane itself, The mental strength also wasn't good today. It was just a game that we played through emotions, to be honest, because of the mistake we made and in the few seconds of the match. It was always going to be difficult, also against with the quality that also the opponent is. We tried, especially in the second half. I thought we did very well. We made a lot of changes, and then we looked the part. We looked a team that could wrestle a result. We did what we could have done. Wasn't good enough, but sometimes it goes like this. The game goes like this, and we dust ourselves, and then we need to move on into the next game. We have another match in 3 days' time, so we need to move. We need to be ready for that match.
And in international sports, for the first time since 1998, a Moroccan player has won the Africa Ballon d'Or at yesterday's Confederation of Africa Football 2025 awards. Achraf Hakimi victory broke the 50 years curse of African defenders not winning the award.
It's a first since 1998. A Moroccan has won the African Ballon d'Or, and the honor goes to Achraf Hakimi. The PSG right-back delivered one of the greatest seasons ever by a defender, sweeping every major trophy, the Champions League, Ligue 1, the French Cup, and the Trophée des Champions. Hakimi was decisive on every stage, scoring in the Champions League quarter-finals, semi-finals and final, finishing the season with 11 goals and 17 assists in 55 matches. His performances even made him a serious contender for the global Ballon d'Or, where he finished 6th. After narrowly missing the African award last year, Hakimi vowed to come back.
That's all the sports update for tonight. Let's now recap the headlines. Minister Moasa defends the purchase of 16 presidential vehicles, saying this was to prevent a loss to state would have incurred. Justice Kidingake calls on the nation to partake in the process to review the country's constitution. And the US President signed a bill ordering the release of files on sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. That's all the news we had for you tonight. Thank you once again for watching YTV. And you can follow us on our Facebook page or get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line 74119-209. From myself and the rest of the YTV News team, have a good night.